They convicted Marcus Webb of murder in 1987. Then a paralegal sorting through a warehouse of decommissioned federal case files found a folder marked INFORMAL, not FOR DOCKET. And inside it, a signed FBI field report documenting an alibi witness the Bureau had interviewed, confirmed, and deliberately kept out of the official record 3 weeks before the trial began. That is the sentence the jury never heard. The official story was clean. Marcus Webb, a union organizer in Birmingham, Alabama, was charged with the 1986 killing of a federal informant named Dale Rourke. The FBI ran the investigation. They had a witness who placed Webb at a bar 12 miles from the scene. They had a partial fingerprint on the door frame of Rourke's apartment. The prosecuting attorney told the jury the FBI had been thorough, exhaustive, and complete. The jury took 4 hours. Webb got life. What nobody said in that courtroom, what nobody was allowed to say, was that the FBI operated 2 parallel tracks on this case. One track went into the official docket, the one the defense could theoretically request. The other track went somewhere else. That second track is what the paralegal found. The folder was labeled with a case number that matched nothing in the Birmingham field office's official index. At the top of the first page in red stamp ink, INFORMAL, not FOR DOCKET. Below it, a field report dated October 14, 1986, 11 days before Webb's arrest. A special agent named R.T. Calloway had interviewed a gas station attendant named Louis Fenn, who told him in detail that he had spoken with Marcus Webb at the pump, handed him change, and watched him drive away at 11:42 p.m., the exact window of Rourke's death. Calloway signed the report. His supervisor initialed it. Then it went into a folder that was never assigned a docket number. Louis Fenn was never contacted by the defense. He was never called to testify. By the time the trial started, he had moved out of state. There is no record in the official case file that he ever existed. Here is the contradiction the verdict cannot absorb. Brady v. Maryland, decided in 1963, requires prosecutors to disclose any evidence favorable to the defense. The FBI is an arm of the federal government. The Calloway report was favorable to the defense, and yet it was sitting in a folder the defense had no legal mechanism to locate because it was never logged, never numbered, and never acknowledged. Chain of custody, the documented trail proving who held evidence and when, applies to physical objects. A report that was never formally filed has no chain of custody because the institution is claiming it doesn't exist. But the Calloway report wasn't even the strangest part. When Webb's attorneys petitioned for review in 2019, they submitted a FOIA request for all files associated with the Rourke investigation. The Bureau returned 847 pages. The Calloway report was not among them. When the attorneys cited the physical document, the one the paralegal had photographed, the FBI's response was that the document could not be located in the official record and therefore could not be verified as authentic. A piece of paper a federal agent signed in a federal building about a federal case, and the institution's position is that it cannot confirm the paper is real. Now here is the detail from the very beginning of this file that becomes impossible to ignore once you know what the folder contained. R.T. Calloway, the agent who signed the buried alibi report and interviewed Louis Fenn, was also the agent who submitted the fingerprint analysis that placed Webb at the crime scene. He worked both sides of the same investigation. He produced the evidence that convicted Marcus Webb and wrote the report that would have exonerated him. Both documents exist. Only one of them was ever given a docket number, the partial fingerprint, the unsigned alibi, one man's initials on both. Here is where the picture inverts. The FBI did not suppress the Calloway report simply to protect a guilty verdict. At least, that is not the only explanation that fits. Internal Bureau communications recovered separately, through a different FOIA request filed on an unrelated case in the same field office, show that Dale Rourke, the man Marcus Webb was convicted of killing, had been cooperating with a federal task force investigating the same union Webb worked for. Rourke was not just an informant. He was an active witness in a separate proceeding. His death was inconvenient in ways that had nothing to do with Marcus Webb. Someone needed the case closed quickly, cleanly, and pointed in one direction. Webb died in custody in 2017. The case has never been formally reopened. The folder is still not in the official docket. What the Bureau has never answered, what no filing, no press statement, no congressional response has ever addressed, is how many other folders exist with that same red stamp. Informal, not for docket. How many other alibi reports, how many other field interviews, how many other names like Louis Finn are sitting in warehouses nobody is allowed to audit, attached to convictions the official record calls closed. The FBI's docket is not the whole file. It never was.